So new motor arrived, great. I ordered the one which can be mounted on its side. Unfortunately, that's a bit of a whopper on the part of the manufacturer, is that the feet that it comes with, if you try and mount it on the side, the box here is a bit too big. So yeah, it's got the holes to be able to mount, but the feet that it comes with, I could move the motor this way so that the box kind of hangs over the edge like that. Then that fits, brilliant. But then I lose quite a bit of adjustment on the belt tensioner, and that's going to give me a bit of a problem. These are slightly slotted, these holes, so that will give me some adjustment. And I could make up new feet, but that's a little bit difficult. It's okay on one side. I've got holes mounted on the side here, so I could just put in a piece of angle iron and put in slots. That's okay for that side. On this side it's a little bit more tricky because I've only got the underneath holes, so I think probably what I'll end up doing is moving this back ever so slightly, and that will give me my full extension here. So I'm going to move it back, and then I'm going to use a couple of little washers or plates underneath just to lift this up. The nice thing about this motor is, though, it's got a much lower profile, so I don't think I'm going to have any problems with the belts this time around, which the old motor did have. The other issue is this is a 19mm shaft with a 6mm keyway. The old pulley here does not have a 19mm thing, and I couldn't find for love nor money a pulley, a twin pulley like this with two different size two different size pulleys on it. So and I don't have a lathe at the moment to be able to bore this one out. So what I've done is I've ordered a modern single pulley here, and I'll put that on the shaft, get everything up and running, and then I can bore this one out and put a keyway in. The other difference is this shaft, the shaft on the new motor is slightly shorter, so what I may end up having to do is also to take off this part and then put in a new set screw down at the bottom, as well as cutting a keyway. Yay! So I mean, nothing insurmountable, nothing massive, but yeah, just expanding problems. Hey, that's per usual. The other small job that I've got to do before mounting this one is I need to drift out. There's actually a bushing, it's been painted over here, but I need to use like a wooden drift or something to take that out slightly so I can get an outside measurement, and then take off the pulleys off the shaft, and get a measurement of the shaft so that I can get the correct size bushings to replace the bushings on here, because they are a little bit worn. I'm probably going to have to use them while I machine the new ones to size, but I'm fairly confident I can do that, even with these being a little bit worn. If I go easy, I should be okay. I've got the motor here where I want it. I've pulled this all the way back to its fullest extension, and it's butted up against the lathe here. I've got this pulley in line with the end of the shaft. Part of the problem I'm having is that because I can't fit the original pulley on at the moment, finding out where it's going to be is difficult. So what I'm doing is just lining up the end of the shaft with the outer face of this pulley, and then when I put the older pulley back on again, I can line that up quite easily. It should be in the right place. Got my uber high-tech marker, so I'm just going to mark the positions of where I want my holes now. Then I have to deassemble everything. I used the belt to make sure that this pulley here, this whole assembly slides, so just to make sure that everything's in the right place. So I'm going to mark up now, and then drill and tap my holes, clean this plate up, give it a paint, and I also need to put the temporary pulley onto the motor, so then I can start the lathe up and readjust the old pulley. Okay, well, next plan is I have threaded rod, socket just slightly smaller than the bushing, deep socket underneath. You can take it, and it's larger enough to sort of sit outside of the bushing. And I'm going to try and drive it down using a screw thread. So well, that worked quite nicely. It was a little bit difficult to find a socket that was the right size that could drift this out. But I've managed to get a measurement on here, and I managed to get the pulley off of this shaft, and I've got the new bearings and the bushings ordered up. They've arrived now. These are exactly the same, direct replacement. These ones only actually match the inside diameter, so I'm going to have to machine the outside, which means I'll have to make up a mandrel. So what I'm going to do now is drive this bushing back inside using a gear puller, and change out this bearing, and then I'm pretty much ready to start putting the machine back together. So that's it, pretty much done for this video. Rather than putting in extra washers to lift up the motor, I had a aha moment where I realised I could just cut off 1/2 inch off this plate, and that's given me enough space to fit in the capacitor box. I've got my temporary setup here with the pulley and everything done, plates in, painted, tapped, drilled, still got the belt tensioner working correctly. Because these capacitors have now moved, I've got an extra 4 speeds, including the back gear. Rewired the e-stop and made everything nice and safe. But before I go any further, I'm going to have to give it a bloody good clean, so I'm going to take the saddle off and the apron. But that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time.